Alright guys, so today we're taking a look at the brand new Beats Flex. Now this is an affordable option if you're looking for a pair of wireless earbuds. They come in at $50, and I never thought that I would say that this may be a pair of Beats that has some really incredible value. But we're going to check out some of the specs, some of the reasons I think that Apple has released this device, and see if it's actually worth the $50 price tag. Now to start with, Apple has released their new iPhone 12 lineup, and on top of not including a charging block in the box, they also don't include earbuds anymore, and they don't include the dongle, so if you do need to use a pair of wired earbuds with your phone, so they're kind of just eliminating that altogether. So the Beats Flex, I think, is more of an add-on feature if you're buying the new iPhone. It just gives you the ability to only spend $50 and now have a wireless option that actually has some really nice features. And some of those features is it has the W1 chip instead of Apple's H1 chip. So it has that instant connectivity if you have an iPhone or an iPad or a MacBook. And so it makes it really convenient if you're already in Apple's ecosystem. But if you are not and you're using an Android device, it also easily connects just going through the settings like normal. You can also download the Beats app so that you have some different functionality there. But that W1 chip is really adding convenience if you're an Apple user. Now, outside of that, it also has the ability to piggyback off another pair of Beats or AirPods. Basically, if somebody is watching a movie on their iPad and you also want to listen to the same thing that they're listening to, if somebody has a pair of AirPods or Beats, this pair is capable of just piggybacking off that pair so that you can both listen to the same thing at the same time. Now, I like this feature, especially if you're somebody that has kids and they don't have their own iPad. It just makes it really convenient. Now, these also have a Class 1 Bluetooth, which is giving it a very solid connection. In fact, if you want a pair of Bluetooth earbuds that gives you very good range, the Class 1 Bluetooth can give you close to 100 feet. Now, that's obviously line of sight, but this is going to be one of those pairs that if you connect it with your phone and you want to kind of go throughout your house, you don't have to worry about a dropped connection. In fact, this is one of the most stable connections I've had out of a pair of earbuds. Now, one thing that I am not a huge fan of when it comes to these is they don't have an official IP rating. So if you were looking to use these in the gym and you're somebody that sweats heavily, or if you're wanting to use these outside and it starts to rain or they get splashed on, there's no protection against that at all. So that is definitely a drawback if you're somebody looking to use those in those type of situations. Now, as far as what you're getting inside the box, you do get 4 sets of the silicone ear tips. And then as far as the charging cable goes, it actually uses a USB-C cable. Speaking of the charging cable, battery life is also really impressive on the Beats Flex because you're going to be able to get around 12 hours of use. Now, that's if you're going to be listening at around 50% volume. Obviously, it's going to drop if you decide to listen to them louder than that, which I am one of those people that listens to louder than 50%. So I don't get the 12 hours of battery life. I get closer to around 10, but given the $50 price tag, I still think this is very impressive. Now, one huge plus though is if you do happen to pick them up and the battery is dead, it does have the fast charge feature. So a quick 10-minute charge will get you an hour and a half worth of use. Now, moving over to looking at the earbuds, it is the neckband style design, and unlike the Beats X that they had out before these previously, all of your controls are actually just located around your shoulders in the 2 blocks there. So they actually don't have the control box located on the wire. Now, on the right hand side is where your power button is located. Now, this is also the pairing button, where on the left hand side is where all of the other controls are located. And I'm happy to say that you have control over everything. So you have your play, pause, skipping your tracks forward, going backwards, and even volume control right there on the left. Now, also another feature that I like on these is it does not have the sensors on the earbuds where you take them out and it will auto pause, but it does have the function when you magnetically clasp them together, it auto pauses your music there. And then when you take them apart, it will auto resume back to what you were listening to. And I really liked this feature because whenever I'm not listening to these, I do take them out and just let them magnetically clasp together. And it just makes it really convenient, and it makes it easy to just kind of move on to whatever you're doing. Now, as far as the microphone on these, it is also located on the left side, and they've also added wind protection on the mic as well. So if you are going to be using these and you're riding a bike, or if you're running outside and it happens to be on a windy day, it's not going to pick up that wind noise, and it just makes it easier to carry on a conversation. And overall, I think they did a very good job with the microphone. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. All right, guys, so here is a mic test using the Beats Flex. I think overall it does a fairly good job of picking up my voice, considering the microphone is located down here around my shoulder. But this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And now here is a mic test with a crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. The sound is almost exactly what you would expect out of these. It has a very rich and slightly warm tone to it. I think they did a very good job with the bass, where it has a lot of punch to it, but there's no distortion. It doesn't feel overwhelming or boomy. And kind of the same thing with the treble. They tuned it up to a point where you're able to hear a lot of details. It doesn't sound near being bright, but it feels like it has a really nice balance with the bass. And one of the things that impressed me the most about the sound was how well the mids sound. I felt like I could hear vocalists extremely well, no matter what genre I was listening to. It felt like it was forward enough that it had a natural feel. It didn't feel like anything was artificially enhanced. Just the overall sound altogether sounded really pleasing. It just didn't get fatiguing, and it sounded really good across all genres that I listened to. So I was really surprised with the overall sound for $50. Now, when it comes to the sound stage and the sound imaging, this is definitely not the most open sounding earbud that I've heard. It still makes you feel like you're in a large room. It doesn't make you feel closed in a smaller area. It didn't sound congested or muddy at all. And then it did a really good job of being able to tell where instruments were coming from. So just again, overall for $50, I was impressed by the audio that I was getting. Now, as far as my cons with these, I really wish that there was an IP rating. That's just more peace of mind if you're going to be using them out and about. And then my only other con is just the neckband style in general. I think I've gotten so used to using true wireless earbuds that sometimes using the neckband style kind of feels a little bit dated. Although I will say it is very convenient just to take the earbuds out, magnetically clasp them together, and you just kind of forget that you have them around your neck. It's much more convenient than taking them out of your ears, throwing them in an earbud case, and then having to keep them in your pocket. So I do see the advantages to this style earbud. I think for $50, this is going to be one of those pairs that's very hard to pass on, especially if you're somebody getting the new iPhones. If you want an inexpensive option, but you want a very good wireless option, it's going to be hard to pass up on the Beats Flex, especially considering they have that W1 chip, and it is very solid. It just works well within Apple's ecosystem. But if you're somebody like me that doesn't use Apple products as your everyday day-to-day device, it still worked very well within Android as well. It just works like a normal pair of wireless earbuds. But guys, that's my video on the brand new Beats Flex. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.